Welcome to The Randy Report. I'm Randy Slavacek, your host. I'm also the writer and editor of therandyreport.com, where you can find me every single day on the internet reporting on the daily news cycle in terms of politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBTQ community. Russian artist and producer Alexander Abramov lives his life out and proud on his Instagram account every day, where over 300,000 people, including me, follow him for a look at his woofy furry goodness in action. Alex has just released the first 2 volumes of a 5-part series of revealing art photography books titled Uncovered. The hunky Russian has kept personal journals for more than 18 years and has drawn upon those memories to create Uncovered. Says Alex, "My diary is about awareness of my homosexuality, about my experiences and explorations of the world. First feelings, first love, first sexual encounter. It's also about human imperfection and struggle, drugs and fears, scars and past troubles. On the whole, it tells of becoming the man I've wanted to be, a man who's able to inspire others to make changes for the better." What you see is what you get with Alex, and that also applies to how he chose the 5 characters in Uncovered. Each volume is named for the characters he portrays: a wrangler, mercenary, woodsman, journeyman, and seafarer. And all represent masculine sexual archetypes Alex has been drawn to all of his life. He says, "It's all about my, let's call it, sexual fantasy. I was always into men, like men. You know, soldiers, cowboys, lumberjacks. It should look like men and smell like men. It should wear clothes like men. I'm totally cool with different types in our LGBTQ community, all these different things. But my personal preference was always about men." We're going to chat with Alex in just a moment, but here's a little background. He began his career in the media business as an assistant in a PR agency in Kazakhstan, where he was born. He moved to Moscow in his early 20s, where he worked as a producer of photo projects. He also dabbled in fashion design, creating collections that appeared on the runways of Russian Fashion Week. Google it, you'll find it. Life eventually led to working in TV as an executive producer of a popular makeover reality series, where he remained for 5 years before moving to the U.S. He says, "It's been a long, winding road to where I am now, but all of my past experiences in magazines, fashion, and TV have contributed enormously to the making of this series of photography books. They are all a part of the fabric of the man that I'm excited to reveal in Uncovered." Everybody, let's chat with Alexander Abramov. Thank you for having the time to chat with me.
Of course. It's probably like second time to my radio interview.
With Larry Flick.
Yes, with Larry. And I mean, I was trying just might speak again and prove my English with you.
You're doing really, really well. No worries at all.
Thank you.
I have to tell you, I've been following you for years on Instagram, like about 300,000 other people in the world. And it's always a bright spot when you post, and it's always fun. What I didn't know, this has come from press materials, is that you were rather sickly or unhealthy when you were younger, which is hard to picture.
Yeah, let's call that like I was unhealthy skinny, like for a boy who was like 6'2" tall, right? So, and yes, I did had like some my problem with my how it's called,
Intestines,
yes. And was when I was like if we go like back to when I was like kid like small, around like 3, 4, 5 years. So yes, I have like problem with like to breathe, like how it's called, asthma, right? And yeah, so I have like kind of like doctors say that like I could like it could be worse, but my grandmother and my mother, they like kind of like put everything that's like to make me like one problem less in my life.
Yes.
Thanks God. Yeah. I had a problem, like really big problem, and so I'm still kind of like live with my surgery. So, but I train my body and I train myself. So like I kind of like I can control everything around me. So I'm totally cool, and I'm feel completely healthy.
Well, I bring it up just because you look like the picture of health. No one would ever think, wow, this guy must have been a little skinny or unhealthy at some point. So it's a big surprise to me because you look like, well, obviously, a lot of people would love to look like you. So, so it was a surprise. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was a long way to become like who I am now and like look like how I am look now. So it's like, yeah.
And part of that journey was obviously finding the gym, and you did that for yourself. So was it hard to like walk into a gym and go, I think this is going to help. This is going to fix a few things, or
So my first motivation to go to the gym, it wasn't about like, oh my God, Alex, you're so skinny, unhealthy, you need to become more healthy. No, it wasn't about health at all. It was about my sexual preference to because I wasn't attractive to guys with who I want to be. So come on, like I was like 20 years old guy who just moved to Moscow. So and of course, there's like will be like a lot of different men, and I start my gay experience, and like I mean, in a full life, in a full story, in a big city. When I start hurt like first no to me, I'm like okay, so maybe I need to do something. Like example, I start go to the gym and like become because I was always attractive to like kind of like muscle big guys. So like and when you like I had a lot of flowers and I had a lot of experience when I was skinny, but it wasn't exactly what I want. So I started going to the gym because I just like I want to like a little bit like change my body to become more attractive to a type of guys who I really like.
well, and it looks like you were successful because I see pictures of you and Brett, and you made it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's like it's now, of course, now my motivation is like it's different completely. Now I do it for myself, for Brad, like I mean, to look good for him, of course, because we will make joke about it. When I first time showed him pictures when I was skinny, and he was like, "No way, it's you." I'm like, "Yeah, this is me," and he like, I mean, he tried to be nice to me, and he like, you were cute. I'm like, Brett, you don't need to be nice. Like, I know this, like, if I will still look like this, you will probably never ever look at me on my way. So when he showed me his young pictures, like around like 20 something, like 25, like 30 years, so he didn't have any like hair, facial hair. So, and when he showed me, and I'm like, oh my God, like, thanks God you have a mustache now because like because I will probably never ever look at you. I mean, it's always about preference.
Yeah,
So like what
absolutely.
we like, yeah. So it's like it's nothing wrong with this. My first motivation was like very specific. Let's call it like this.
Well, good for you. You know what you're doing. You mentioned the book. Let's talk about the book because that's what we're really here for. And I've seen pictures on Instagram, obviously, and I've been to your website. Through all of those years, through your teen years, through your early 20s, you apparently kept journals, and you've taken those journals and those thoughts and those memories, and you've turned it into a series of photography art books called Uncovered, with 5 different volumes, with your photographer who apparently you've known for a while.
Yes, it's my really, really, really good friends with who I to work in Moscow almost for 10 years. So, and when I decided like to make this project, like I even like, I know a lot of photographer guys, like from Moscow, from here, from the United States. So I didn't question myself about who it should be. I just called him and I'm like, okay, I have an idea. Do you want to like join me? And actually his answer was like, immediately he's like, yeah, of course, yes. Like he just moved to LA a year ago, and it was like easy for us. So I just need like go to California for a few days, and like it's new beginning too because he's very major in Russia. He was in the like very high level, and he worked with all like fashion magazines. He did a lot of commercial. Now he start like from beginning because United States market it's a little bit different, and I told about I tell him about it about my experience in the book too because when I moved here and I was kind of like have a lot of I had very high position in my career in Moscow. And when I moved here, so I become like again, like from beginning, like start little by little, step by step, like do some projects, like to start like again, like I'm 18 again or something. But
where did you get the idea to do the book and to do 5 series in these characters? Can you tell me about that?
Like idea about book, because it's for the photograph, right? It's for the stories. So I do photograph like a producer, like a photograph, like for, I don't know, for 10, 12, 13, 14, 14 years almost. So when I was looking for like some project, because it was very tough time for me to move to United States, and I'm telling about in a book how hard it was. I got married, I got divorced, I met Brad. It was like a lot of things, a lot of shit, let's call it this, like happened for these 2 years when I moved here in the United States. So when I was like met Brad, and we like it was a year already, like how we were together. So he kind of like bring life to me to back to like like to start thinking about it like in a something like about creation, about like project, about art. I was thinking about like, okay, like I want to do some photography, because it's what exactly I really like to do like for a long time. It could be photograph, yes, what I wanted to do. And it was actually like kind of like my Instagram. He gave me this part of this idea, because Instagram, it's about photo, and I have like huge following, and I'm like, so maybe like I need to do something like not like for my followers, but like, because I got a lot of questions about my life and in direct message, like a lot of people, like question myself like about gym, working out routine, about my relationship, about my life, about my work, about my how I moved to the United States. I mean, all this kind of like question, like, and Instagram, like photo stories. So just like bring like all this together, like mix it up. So people want to know me better. Why I can tell them about me a little bit better. So people want to see me naked. Okay, people will see me naked, but only in the way how I want to like represent myself. So I actually don't have like any issues with like this. I become naked in a, like it was part of more. It was more about part of like kind of like marketing, right? Story, like to sell this book, because let's be realistic, right? Some part of people will buy this book because they want to know me better from through my notes. Some part of people will buy just because they want to see me naked, and I'm cool with this. And
Cash the
actually, I
check.
will be. Yeah, I mean, I will be actually like happy if these people who will buy a book like just to see me naked, they will like my story for them, and like get something more, just like not just because like naked Abramov legs or something. But I mean, this all like story about Instagram, like they kind of like give me this idea, like just put it together, how it could be, how it look like. I mean, when I got first time, I got a hard copy of first book, just like to prove paper quality, color, like tasting, all these like things. I was like, this is really great. And I see like go through naked pictures, and I'm like, I will probably never ever will be embarrassed or ashamed what I'm done, because it's done well. And you should understand, I'm very, very, very like high expectation, especially about myself and about what I'm doing in my life. When I was like start do this, like, and we have like actually a big issue with Brett about doing this book, because like he didn't wanna like that, like his man, like become naked in a book and like all this stuff. So, but when I got like first shot, like first days, like, and I sent to him like first pictures, and like share with him, like I'm like, look at how cool it is, like, and he's like, oh my god, yes, it's amazing, and I'm like, yeah, so we done, and I'm not regret about nothing.
Awesome.
No, but
Awesome.
sometimes
Oh,
people
sure.
like,
Oh, sure. I've had some jobs that I had regrets about. What also is really interesting is With the 5 books, there are 5 stories or 5 characters that you play, but this is all telling a story
My life.
of your life.
Yeah. So it's like let's make it clear. So it's 5 different characters. So it's like Wrangler, Mercenary, Woodsman, Journeyman, and
Seafarer.
Seafarer. Yeah. So what I was like thinking about when I was choosing these characters, it's very easy actually. It's all about my, like, let's call it like sexual fantasy, you know. So it's like how I was always into like man, you know, like man, like, you know, soldier. It should be like cowboy. It should be like lumberjack. It should be look like man. It should be smell like man. It should be like wear clothes like man. I'm totally like cool with different kind of let's say level of our LGBTQ community. I'm totally cool with like with part of feminine and like transgender, all these like different things. But my preference always was about man. So when I was like choosing like these characters, I was like, okay, obviously I was always crazy about like cowboy things, like all this American dream, like why I make actually like him like a first hero, like first book, because I mean, especially after this movie, I actually don't remember how it's called in English. When this Jack Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger.
Oh yes, Brokeback Mountain.
Yes, I mean, come on, it's like iconic movie for gay culture. So I mean, for me, it was like go through this like characters, like, you know, being like in a we did shooting in a Joshua Tree for this part. So and it's, you know, it was it was a special moment. So yeah, and after like I go to like, okay, like military, like for me it's very like sexual too, like, and after I'm like, okay, lumberjack, I'm always obsessed like what I don't I'm since I'm like teenager, I was always obsessed with facial hair, and I was always try to grow up my facial hair, like, and beard and all these like things. I mean, come on, lumberjack is just like,
I'm with you. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like 100% of the character of this facial hair. So, and actually, Sailor, last one, like Seafarer, it was like about probably it's because Brad, I can tell you, because Brad, like, yeah, in a Seafarer, I'm very like I have a mustache, so it's kind of a scruff, but it's obviously that I have a mustache, like big one. So it's about Brad, because I never was like thinking about mustache, you know, in a sexual way, but Brad is the person who bring me this idea and make it like very sexual. So now, like, for me, it's like, I mean, especially like the Tom Finland art, always like make me like, you know, how feel something.
Well, it's funny you say that when it comes to a mustache. For me, when I was a teenager in the 70s, the first time I realized that I was attracted to men, there were ad campaigns and there were actors like Burt Reynolds who had a
Yeah.
mustache. There was an ad campaign for cigarettes, and there was the Marlboro Man had a mustache.
Yeah.
And so facial hair, I agree with you completely. It's always been a thing for me. It always felt very masculine and
Yeah.
manly, and so I totally get what you're saying when you say that. I mentioned earlier about in Russia, what I don't think a lot of people know that you were an executive producer, you worked in TV, you were very successful. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I don't think people know anything about that side of you.
Maybe in the third book, yes, I will talk about my work experience, job experience more. So, I mean, I have like huge job experience, and I start work when I was 16. If you talk about real job, like real job, you know, when you go in the office and like work. So, my first job was like I start I was like a designer, like graphic designer in a print company
Hmm.
for a few years. After it was in my hometown in Kazakhstan, in my hometown, so before Moscow. After I had experience like assistant in some PR company who did like big events, like all these like things. So when I moved to Moscow, I start work like a producer in a magazine, like photo producer. Like it was my first job. Like when I start do photograph like in a serious level. Like I mean, because I work with a lot of like celebrity and famous people in Russia. So um, in the second line, when I was working in this magazine, I actually start work on my first fashion collection. So I did 2 runway show in the Russian Fashion Week, like a designer. And yeah, you can go like just check it. It's still online because we just I was just show my friends recently in a weekend in YouTube. You just can put like Abramov Alexander Russian Fashion Week, and they will show you like yeah. So and I was kind of in a successful in this way too, but after I realized it's like I don't want to like first of all in this time in Russia like if you do fashion you need like a lot of huge support and money behind you, and I did everything like kind of like from by myself, and it was very hard because I was young. I mean, of course I had like some like like somebody like who like was invest in me, but it still was hard. After this I did few fashion collection. I changed job. I back to PR company, and I start work for the producer again, like for big brands, Russian brands, for big celebrity, like a producer too. So like I managed and I did like all this photograph, like this like was everywhere in the magazines and online. And after my friend, like my best friend, she became a host, TV host in some show. So and she invited me like in an interview with her boss because it was new show and they was looking for like a new blood, let's call it like this. So she promoted me, and I got this job first of all like a location manager, but after almost like 2 months, they make me like a producer. So and I was like 4 5 almost 5 years I was making this reality show. It was about makeover. So we bring first of all it was about just a girl. We make like huge makeover, and in the end of the show we made makeover for a couple. And yeah, and after I decided to move to America. Yeah, I mean I have background, especially for a guy who was just like 2024 when I become executive producer. It's like people who with who I was like had interview here when I was looking for job in New York. They was like looking at me, I'm crazy. He's like, how was you are? I'm like, now I'm 29, and he's like, and you did show, I'm like, yes, I was 24. And they like look at me because he like one guy with who I had like my friends like connect with him, and he was the executive producer in it's CNN or something, and he was telling me he like Alex, it's impossible that like somebody in America become executive producer in a reality show in a 24. I'm like, yes, but I did, and like it wasn't that much like. And yeah, but it's a long story. We can speak about yeah.
Well, it does happen for people who are talented and creative. It does happen. I can tell you, I met my husband. I've been with my husband for 24 years, but when we met,
Oh wow.
he was a 24-year-old vice president of a huge record label. He was just really talented and good at what he did. And when I met him, actually, I'm 5 years older, and everyone always assumed that he was older than me, not because he looked any, he's way cute, but
Yeah.
because he was a vice president at 24, everyone always assumed, well, he's got to be older because who's
Yeah.
that successful? So I totally get the story you're telling that, Alex, I know you have to go. I don't want to cut you short.
Like, I mean, if you can, 10 minutes, totally
Okay,
fine. Like,
I'll take
yeah,
it.
of course.
Do you mind talking about the Instagram thing because I'm fascinated by it?
No.
In terms of, so you started an Instagram account, you start posting pictures, and then you have 300,000 people following you. And what is that like? First of all, it's got to feel good because you look great, and the thing about it is, I'll tell you because I follow you. I mentioned that earlier. In great part, I follow you because I there are a lot of accounts to follow, but you always look, not to sound Pollyanna or like simple, but you look really happy. You don't look like you take yourself seriously, and I don't mean that you're not a serious person, but you don't take yourself
Yeah.
overly seriously. You look happy. Were you aware of this following happening, or did you post a picture one day and suddenly you jumped to 100,000? Or how did these things happen? I'm just very curious.
First of all, when I started my Instagram, it was like a long time ago. It was 2011 when they
Oh,
just show up in the market. So,
so
and
you were still in Russia?
yeah, and
Oh,
I mean, it's no, I didn't get my followers like for like 5 months or something like now people, because like now it's all about social media, and it's most part about Instagram. So now people, especially young generation, who like famous or successful, they can like got like a few 100,000 for a few weeks. No, my followers, it's more about time. So I grown like my followers like since 2011. It's maybe last few years it's kind of like faster and faster I become following. Like I mean, like example, like for last few days, maybe it's like almost like 2,000 people like start following me more. I just don't allow this up for myself because they have, remember, maybe you remember, they have like not like now, they kind of like have like some frames, like some filters in the pictures, kind of like make it like Polaroid or like old style. And I was like, because I was love to do photograph, I just don't allow this up and like start do pictures. And actually my first post, it wasn't about selfie or me, it was just about like some building or some flowers or some landscape, like some different things from like travel. After like I start post like some selfie or like some body transformation pictures, like when I become, and yeah, and it's like it was like snowball, like bigger, 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 and I one moment it was maybe like few years, not few years, it was like maybe like for now 5 years ago when I just realized it's like when you got such a big following, it's first of all it's big responsibility.
that was the question I was going to ask. Do you feel like it's a responsibility?
It
Yeah.
is responsibility.
Yeah.
It's a huge, and when I'm realized it's like because I start be more careful probably with what exactly I'm posting, and I'm not like like I'm selecting. Oh, I will post just like I don't know, like my selfie from gym or like no, I'm more self-selective about uh like life. If we talk about life, it's not easy and it's very complicated and it's darker and darker every day. It is always situation. So I just realized to be this kind of person, not like who always happy. Of course, I'm not always happy. Like, come on, but I just don't want to like put some negative or like make a post about like or I don't know like something bad or like some. I just like because I know it's like people like watch me, people follow me, and like honestly, I got probably maybe a few times per week some message about this like, Alex, thank you so much for your post. It's make my day. So like you give me this like laugh, smile, good energy, good vibes. It's make me feel better because it's what exactly we need in this world now. It just like a little bit make everyone a little bit happier because everyone's so angry, everyone's so jealous, everyone's so uncomfortable, everyone's so like like want to speak about all this like shit what's going on in our world now. So that I don't want to be part of these people who like angry about everything. I want to be part of people who can find something good in every day, in every minute in our life. Even if I did pictures in the purpose. Like I was telling about this like all summer, last summer, when we were like with Brett and like out of town and Hamptons, and it's like yes, I did ask my friends to do some pictures in the purpose with Brett, like in the pool or something. First of all, my first motivation reason was like I want to have something captured with Brett in this moment. Second was I want to share this moment with people like in a good way. You don't need to wait when some moment will like you will get this moment. You can create this moment every time, even like get bread and go on the terrace and make selfie, and just like to remember this moment, how weather was good, how day was fine, like what good happened. It's like every picture is like, it's kind of like capture not just how it looked like, it's capture some moments. If it's a good moment in the good memories, I think it's better than it's bad. I mean, of course, sometimes it's bad, but it's another interview. I mean, we can go, with me, you can always go deep, like conversation. And if you will speak another time, I can tell you for now, you never can ask me again about like how we can speak about everything. Like I can speak about everything especially because now I'm open my diary, like kind of for everyone, my journey. So it's like I speak about a lot of different things, like very private in these books, right? So it will be for me weird to hide some information or don't speak about something in the public, because I already almost did it by books. Yeah.
One other thing I want to ask, and it's kind of part of those dark things that people are talking about. You talk about how people are dark, and we don't have to spend much time on this, but I am fascinated. I write about politics a lot also. I'm very active as an LGBTQ reporter and journalist, which means I have to follow politics on a daily basis, And so right now, obviously in the news a lot, the word Russia comes up, because we have our president, and there's this ongoing thing with collusion with Russia and blah, 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 and this kind of a thing. And obviously, all these things, and it keeps going back and forth, and Vladimir Putin, and clearly, I'm not going to ask you if you know anything about Russian collusion, but being from Russia, you have to have an interesting perspective on how Americans are looking at this, because there are the people who support Trump who say that didn't happen, it couldn't possibly happen, they didn't do anything. There are people who are looking at we presume to be the FBI and the CIA, and they're saying no, we have this, and that's why we keep looking at it. There's evidence. But as someone from Russia, do you have any thoughts, even just to share with me, and I don't even have to include this, but do you have any thoughts on how does this all look to you, just as an observer?
Like,
do you mind me asking? You don't have to.
No. Before I tell you this, like we can speak about any subject. I just probably need to mention this. Like I'm completely not politician person, but
being from Russia and you lived under Putin, and
how I can tell you now, like I mean, just my opinion. You can include it if you want to in our record online. I don't mind at all. First of all, like Brett always make joke about collusions. It's like, so if I am here, so probably collusion is real. So it's just a joke. So if you're talking about my opinion about this, like things, like what's going on, like, and actually I was really enjoyed, say like this. I was really enjoyed last year when all this like things happened, election like between Hillary and Trump. I was like really enjoyed an entertainment by what's going on here in this country, because it was like a lot of days, a lot of meetings with our friends here in the different spots. It's like when people only speak about election, only about Hillary, about Trump, and I was like kind of like I was kind of like supporting Hillary because she was like kind of like pro-gay and like. She's a woman, and Trump, like all his like bullshit background, kind of like don't look well for me. And I was asking Brett, of course, like, okay, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this one? And he'd tell me some story like about Hillary, about Trump, and like all these like things. So for me now, this is like collusion, like story. It's not real. It's not real.
You don't think Trump or his team or anyone had anything to? You don't think Putin did anything?
No, I don't think so. You know what I can tell you about Russian, like a country, and like for now I can tell you this, like sometimes something seems so big, but it's not real. It just seems big. It's like example, what Russia seems now in the world, it's not like it was before, like the example was USSR. it's very, very, all situation what's going on now, and it's like kind of touch every republic in the, like every past, like all this like small, my home country, Kazakhstan, because I'm talking about my mom, and she always like tell me about her like whole situation in the country, you know. They still maybe seems like a strong big countries, you know, like especially Russia, but for my opinion, it's not. It's just illusion. They're not so powerful how they can like represent themselves. Maybe yes, maybe they still like, especially in American people, old generation people who remember all this like Cold War and everything. Maybe the Russia still seems like very like, you know, powerful like country who can just like, and you know, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, no. It's like, and all this like story about collusion and like it's like about election and about Hillary, and it's like just seems like people. First of all, we need to remember like you like a person who work in the media. I'm like a person who work in the media so like so long time. We should understand it's like media now. It's like it's a like weapon, you know. So it's like, and people use this weapon for now all the time. So they just wanna, you know, they wanna create something. They just cover it something. It's like people don't pay attention for some real problems. So they're talking about like bullshit, Russian collusion. You know, like it's just like seems like it's like fake. There's some real problem, but we speak about like who like I mean why Trump won or like why it's so obvious why he won, you know. I mean for me at least because
Why do you think he won?
because why he won?
Yeah.
Yeah, because America wanna back to like wanna become again like a powerful country. Because how I understand with Obama, it was very like long tough period, especially his second term. So and you know like United States, it's not about New York or Los Angeles. Like example, Russia, it's not about Moscow or St. Petersburg. It's a huge country in Russia, United States. And people who don't live in this huge city, they're a little bit like they, first of all, they matter, like for sure, they matter. Their opinion very matter because it's the biggest part of country. It's not like New York and LA, it's not United States. You know, it's like, I remember my first out of, when I just went to Connecticut and I'm like, oh my God, it's so clean and so cute and people so nice. And because, you know, in Manhattan, like Manhattan, it's not United States. Like in New York, it's not United States. Like, so, and like example, why Putin won again in Russia? It's just like some friends of Brett asking me like, oh my God, Putin. I'm like, guys, like Russia, it's a huge country. It's not Moscow and not St. Petersburg. People who don't live in a huge city, they think about a little bit different. They have life a little bit different. They have food a little bit different. They have everything a little bit different than people who has in a big city. So people out of Moscow, they love Putin. And this is people who vote for him. It's real people. I mean, for me, it's so simple. I don't know why sometimes, because people who think different way, like liberal, right? They live in this big city like Los Angeles, New York, Moscow, St. Petersburg. They like more progressive. They're more educated. They're more like cool. They know they travel around the world. They think different in a like life in a different level. So, but they're a small part of people. It's more part of groups, so they can't like you know like control everything. So in this situation with like Trump and Hillary, right? So when like we saw this map, like when people was voting and like color, like state was colored in some like blue or red. So you of course like yes, New York was to vote for Hillary, like LA was vote for Hillary, but some states, like I remember, it was like even some states was Democrat, they become Republican more, right? Like it was like why he actually won, like because he got more votes. So because people like in this probably in these states in this city, like they tired, they like don't they want to really change something, you know, and they probably understand this like if Hillary will become president, probably nothing will change. It's like sometimes you need a cut tree, like even like if it's household bread, like yes, they both this both candidate is bad. We just need to choose better from these two
Right,
bad
right.
two bad candidates. So I mean, Trump was kind of probably obvious. I mean, because he's a businessman, because he he know like America like bread. Like he told me like I want to like make money because for him like last 4 years it was like real estate was just frozen. It's like don't move at all. Like nothing happened. It's like nobody sell, nobody like rent, nothing. It was like that period. And for now, I ask him sometimes, like, so, like, now it's better a little bit, like, or how? And he, like, yeah, like, it's still very tough in a big city because it's like tax reform and all everything. But he told me, like, at least it started a little bit move. And every time, like, I just a little bit listen to this news, Brett always, like, put Fox News or some channels to listen, like, at the end of the day, like, what happened. Sometimes, like, and how I understand is like every day there's some new records always in the market, like there's like or like this. I just saw a news about for the last 17 years, it's the most highest unemployed.
Right, the lowest unemployment in 17
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But it's good, right? I mean,
Oh, it is good.
it's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. I will point out that part of those 17 years were 8 years under Obama, where it
yeah,
continuously fell. So it didn't fall in 1 year. But
yeah,
no, no, no. Things are, the stock market has done well. It tripled under Obama,
yeah.
but it has done well. So no, absolutely, I see that. So I was curious though, because I just think being a Russian and with all this talk about Russia constantly in the news, and it's tiring
Yeah.
me, to be honest with you. I was just wondering how someone who is Russian looks at this and thinks, oh my God, they just keep talking about Russia, 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 Russia.
It's just like it's weird for me that like people still keep talking about it and like keep attention for this because there's some like real problem and like example like especially for America, it's like you need to do like your things. It's like every person should live their life. Like right, so it's for countries the same. We need to pay attention for Russia or like some different country, right? So first of all, make like everything cool inside your country, and after like let's talk about like what's going on here. Who try control us? I mean, but come on, so it's like not real, not real, not real.
Well, thank you so much for having time to chat. I really do appreciate it. I'm excited to get my copy of the first volume. I've ordered it. I'm waiting for it. I just think you are so charming, and I love following you on Instagram. And your
Thank
pictures
you.
do make me feel happy when I see them because you do look happy. So mission accomplished there, and I really appreciate it.
If I will make at least one person happy every day, I think it will be good, right?
Absolutely. And there are people that get on social media and every now and then it's a little jarring, I'll be honest. We should, in theory, social media should be about sharing our lives, but sometimes some people get on and they get everything, and sometimes it's very negative, dark things, which I guess they have the right to do, but I don't know that everybody wants to get on social media and be brought down. I do look at your account and other people that I do follow, and I go, I just want to smile for a minute. This would be really cute if I could. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the stories that you tell, though, in your books. So thank you so much for having the time to chat about this. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, it was. I think it's very nice chat, and I'm glad it's like we were speaking about a little bit different subjects, not which I was like speaking with Larry. So after release, like after you will get the book, like first, second copy. So if you will interesting to keep our conversation and maybe speak about like your reaction or something like
I would
about
love to, if you don't mind. I would love to.
yeah, I open for conversation. So especially I was curious about what do you think about these books? What do you think about these notes? What do you think about these pictures? It's like I'm really like interested. Let's make some time.
I will definitely follow up, and thank you so much. You have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
In that he was born in the Republic of Kazakhstan and having lived his young adult life in Russia, Alex knows well the lack of LGBTQ rights in these countries. For those reasons, he's donating 10% of proceeds of Uncovered to the Russian LGBT network, which promotes equal rights and respect for human dignity regardless of sexual orientation and gender identity. You can find out more information about Alex's book series Uncovered at his official website at www.abramovlex.com. I'll have the link in my show notes. I want to thank Alex once again for the excellent chat. This brings me to the end of this episode of The Randy Report. If you enjoy catching up on LGBTQ news in a quick podcast, I'd appreciate it if you would share The Randy Report with your friends. I like to think of this podcast as the 60 minutes of gay news, only shorter. And remember, you can find me every single day on the internet at therandyreport.com and instinctmagazine.com, where I cover the daily news cycle regarding politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBTQ community. Thanks for listening, folks. See you next time.